Happy Homebrew Wednesday. All right, we'll start off this Wednesday with Maharaja. This is Maharaja IPA. And I want to thank Nate Pico out there for sending me this recipe or sending me an image of this recipe that I put in my Beersmith and made. And you know, the funny thing is, it reminds me a lot of old school, a very strong old school. Wow. Yeah, so this thing is, yeah, it's a punch in the face of dankness. Really, really good. Man, I wish my old school and the SJP or the SJ Pour comp would have turned out in the final round like this. Man, this is really good. Cheers. Yeah, this is kind of a weird week. So no brewing or anything. I tapped the Maharaja. Obviously, I got to bottle some of that and send it to Stuart back across the ocean so he can sample the wares and enjoy the fruits of our labor. I do have a lot of plans coming up for brewing, but before I get into that, talk a little bit about some sad stuff that happened this weekend. Sunday, I guess it was Sunday night. So Sunday night, I guess, you know, my brew buddy, Zach, little schnauzer, who I frequently put in my intro photos for my Homebrew Wednesdays. I call him Yoda because he's like an old man. He's like a little broken down schnauzer. He's like a cross between a poodle and I guess it's a schnauzer. I don't know. He was a rescue dog. We found him at the pet store on our way to go pick up some hamster food. And he and there was this little Shih Tzu Reese were in stack cages, and they just looked, I mean, he looked especially pitiful. I mean, he just looked really sad, really lonely. And of course, you know, my daughter, then my son, then my wife joined them. And, you know, we were supposed to have a strong front that we weren't going to go, you know, get any puppies or dogs or anything like that. But, you know, first it was the daughter, then the son, then all of a sudden they turn around and Heather's like broken down and she's got the puppy dog eyes too. And I'm like, so they finally, against my better wishes and to my chagrin, we ended up getting 2 dogs because they couldn't just, you know, get one and leave the other one. So we picked up Reese and Zach, and I guess that was about 5 or 6 years ago. Zach, I think then was probably, I don't know, 8 or 9, you know. He's kind of an old man, and he's always had a bad back. You know, you pick him up and his back's sore, and so he was, you know, and he's a little cranky. He's got his issues, you know. He doesn't generally like men when they come over, especially Hernan, the guy that does a lot of work on our house. For some reason, he hates him some Hernan, but you know, he was a good dog. He loved me, and so I started out thinking like, man, I don't want to, you know, have a dog, and he melted my heart and he was my buddy. And every day I would come home, without fail, he was there wagging his little tail, smiling, and just very happy to see me, and just unconditional love. And so, yeah, I mean, I was never a little dog kind of guy. I grew up with Great Danes, so, you know, I thought, man, if a dog that size is a football, you know, I mean, not that I would kick a dog, but, you know, I just didn't have a whole lot of use for little dogs. But, man, I love those guys. And they don't shed either. So Sunday, for the past like week or so, he's been kind of acting weird, you know, kind of initial signs of dementia. He would just stand there and like bark at nothing in particular. Then he started wetting the carpet like a lot, which he hadn't done in a long time because they're usually pretty good about going out and using the bathroom. So Sunday just got really bad. I mean, his back feet were falling out from under him, and he was, you know, urinating, you know, all over the floor. So took him into the urgent care vet clinic and found out that he just wasn't, you know, doing very well, and, you know, recommendation was to you know, put him to sleep. So we did that. It was like very tough. Yeah, it was very tough. So so I sat there through that. He did go very peacefully, and that's like my only consolation, I guess. I miss him terribly. Kind of hard to see pictures of him now. I think I'll put one up here. just as in memoriam. So that's Sack. He's no longer with us. You know, rest his little soul. I'm sure he's running around up in doggy heaven somewhere, you know, chasing a little duck toy, which is what he loved to do. And yeah, what an awesome little dog he was. Now Reese is probably going to be getting spoiled because he's going to get a lot of lavish attention on him now. Because I miss my buddy Zach. I mean, I like Reese too. He's a good dude, but he just, you know, Zach was my boy. So anyway, that's that. Let's move over to bright things. I'm very busy at work. I am working my butt off on all kinds of fun stuff that uses my noggin and makes me very happy. So that is going well. This beer, this Maharaja is, man, it's so good. Did I mention how good it is? Did I mention how good it is? It is really good. So I'm going to bottle this up, get some over to Turkey, get some out to some other folks, and yeah. I love it when a beer turns out really, really well, and this one did. I think it must be brewing water. I'm kind of looking forward to this yeast experiment because I'm going to be the control, and I'm going to use distilled water with some treatment, I guess. So I'm really interested in seeing what that does, because a lot of my IPAs turn out like, if I didn't know, I might even think this is old school, but it's a lot stronger, you know. And it's a completely different, well, no, it's got Simcoe. Maybe it's a Simcoe that's in it that I pick up that's very noticeable in old school. I mean, I have Citra and Simcoe in old school. This one is, you know, Columbus, which I put a little bit of Columbus in old school too, on the dry hop side. So I don't know, maybe it's not by accident that it's very similar to old school because of the hops that are used. I don't use Centennial, but I don't know if I'll be able to pick that out of a lineup. Maybe it's close enough to Citra that I just don't notice it. But yeah, this thing is freaking awesome. It's deadly. It's deadly. Like most beers, you can't tell this thing is 10%. You know, it dropped all the way down to 1018 from 1093. And I was thinking, is that going to be too dry for a Imperial this strong? But it's not. This thing is like perfect. I think Josh might brew that this weekend too. Or he already did, or something. I think it's this weekend. So brews on the brewing front. So I got the yeast experiment coming up. I think I've talked about that before. I'm going to do another old school National Homebrew Convention or competitions coming up. Just saw the registration open for that, so I'm going to register for 3 or 4 beers. I don't know. I might go crazy and just flood it with entries this year. I like putting my best foot forward, so we'll see what happens. There's another competition that I might jump into that I just found out about. I need to start doing some lagers. I really want to do a lager. I also talked about a potential, I'll kind of keep him secret for right now, of doing a collaboration brew day with one of my other brew tubers. So we'll see what happens there. We have some interesting ideas. Might involve some fruit. So that'll be cool. But anyway, other than that, there's not really a whole bunch more to talk about. I do have some beer reviews I need to do. I got some stuff from Exit 12 I want to do. Is that it? I think I have another one. Oh, I've got Rasputin's Beard from Rec Brewery that I want to try out too. So that's all I got going on. Hey, hope you're having a happy homebrew and a very, very sorry for being all dressed up. I just, you know, had to go pick up my son after work. But and a very, very happy Homebrew Wednesday. Cheers.